Hello everybody, welcome to this month's project. This month's project is for the string instrument players that we have out there. The samples were made using walnut, maple, alder. However, you might use any woods of your own choosing. We recommend using any suitable hardwood. This is a nice project to give as a gift or make for yourself, and it can also be personalized. These projects have epoxy inlays and painted parts. The body, the neck, the stand, and the neck holder are the basic parts. At the end of this article are pictures and of the stands with instruments on them. The video and instructions are for the violinist stand. The others are made in a similar fashion. The instructions, CRV files, and videos are found on NextWave Automation's website, nextwaveautomation.com. This project is aimed at the woodworker with moderate to immediate skills. You will need access to a current version of VCarve with its updates and the tools that we list in the tutorial. So here we go. This is on how I designed this project and how to create your tap files for your particular machine. Remember, after you do any modifications to any of the software, you have to save the tap files with your particular post processor. So here we go on how I designed this. Now, there's several different ways you can do this. You're going to open up my project file, and this is what you're going to get. You're going to have, for the violin body right here, and also you will have all the tap files, or all the toolpaths I should say. In order to make these toolpaths in the picture that you see right here, and to make this particular project, you have to save these these toolpaths into tap files that are with the post processor of your machine. So you would go to Save Toolpath. For instance, I have the violin body profile here. Save this toolpath. You want to make sure that you output all the devices to one file. This is the violin body profile. It takes a 1/4 inch end mill, and here is where the post processor is. You're going to save this post processor to the particular post processor that is for your machine. You're going to save the toolpath. It's going to go to a storage wherever you told it you wanted it to be stored to. Then it's going to have the name, and then you'll just sit there and say save. I already have one there. You would say yes, and voila, that one would be saved. You will need to save all of these toolpaths in order to make this project. But how did I design this project? How did I come up with the way of just having all these lines? Well, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go to New. And I need a workspace or a job size that is 10 by 20. I know that the body of a violin is approximately 8 by 14. So we wanted to have enough material so you can clamp it down, etc. I like to use the datum position of the middle, material surface, single-sided. We say OK. Now I have my work surface. This is going to be my blank. The first thing you could do, you could just sit there and go, okay, I have a memory, I can do it this way. But what I usually do is I'll import a bitmap. And this bitmap can be anything, a line drawing, or an actual picture of the violin. So I will take this violin picture here. I also have another JPEG here that is more like a line drawing that tells you all the parts. I got these from the internet, but this is an actual picture of a violin. And you bring it in. Now, what I can do is I can go in here and say trace. And you can do a trace. And since I have a really solid black background here, I could just do that color. And you will notice that it will highlight everything in black. Okay? Now there's black in the violin, but it's not terrible. And you could go to this one here, and what it's going to do is highlight all the black. Or you could go to every color except black, the browns, the dark grays, and start going through here. And everything that turns yellow is what it's going to trace around. That's pretty much the whole violin. So I could set there at this point in time, tell it to preview it, and you'll see that I have not too bad of a trace of the violin. At this point in time, I could apply it, close out of this, make the bitmap go away. Now, if you sit there and look at this with the node, it says it can't do that. Well, first of all, I got to ungroup everything because it's all one big group. So we'll tell it to ungroup it. Oh, it's already ungrouped. Okay. Now you'll notice that it's got a ton of nodes in it. And my experience is when you have a ton of nodes, it makes for a longer cut. So there's a way around this. I now have this as a model. What I can do at this point in time is actually make my own model. Okay? So I could set here and make a new layer, and I'm going to call this layer body. And I'm going to change the color to red. This is my new layer. And now this is now the layer everything's going on because it's highlighted. Now I can set there and go, okay, about right here would be midpoint. And there's another thing we could do also, is that we could put this in the center, which might help us out really a lot by putting all of this in the center. Okay? Now everything's in the center. And there's a reason why this makes it helpful, because what I'm going to only do is draw half of this violin body. So I can go in here and I can set there and go, okay, from here to here, kind of bring it out, then go from here to here and kind of bring it out, and then go from here to here and kind of go there, then go from here to here, kind of bring it around, go from here to here and kind of, and this doesn't have to be real accurate. All we're trying to do is get our lines down right now. And then I can go from here to here. And, you know, like I said, I'm just trying to get my lines in here. Go from here to here and kind of go there. Go from here to here, kind of go there. Go from here, and I'm just going to go all the way back to the here and just make this one big piece. Okay, now I have an outline of the body. This up here is pretty good, so I'm not going to mess with that, but here we had some issues, etc. Okay, and I'm going to make this red too so that we can see my lines. Now let's close. Now you can see my lines here. I want to bring this point here up a little bit. So what we're going to do is go edit the nodes. And what I'm going to do is drag this one up just a hair. And I'm going to call this a Bezier. And I'm going to just kind of bring that down. Oh, that's perfect there. So this line here, I don't really have to mess with at all. This one, well, maybe I will mess with it a little bit. Put my handles on it. That looks pretty good there. Let's go to this one here. What I may do on this one here is bring this point up a little higher. Right there. And then bring this point up to there. And create the handles. That looks better. This one here seems like it's way out of whack. Now we could do this two ways. I'm going to just leave it the way we had it. We're going to set here and work with what we got here. Now this handle here I can bring in. And see how I'm kind of shaping it here a little bit? And I can bring this one in a little. Oh, that looks really good there. Now, this one here will do just exactly the same idea. We'll bring this in. Ooh, I'm good with that. Now, we can bring this point up to here. You notice my line isn't fitting very well there, but we can change that. That's pretty good. I like that. That's pretty smooth. Go in here. And that's okay. I'm not too unhappy with that. Quite honestly, this one around the bottom's not bad either. So let's do this one here. I just want to bring this in a little bit tighter. So as you can see, that wasn't really too hard. Okay, we want to bring this point down, or no, we're going to bring this up a little bit. So it's kind of a little bit flatter on the bottom. There we go. Now that's not too bad. I've got a nice line all the way around there. So what I can do now is turn off this layer, and I've got a nice smooth curve here. Now the only thing that I really have to mess with here is this guy here. Make these two close to connecting, and then just kind of rounding this out a little bit. And you can take a little creative license. There's nothing wrong with that. Bring this over to the center line, because what we're going to do now is we're going to melt all of these together. We're going to weld them together. So it says, okay, I'm going to open or join them all together except for two. This one here and this one here. And what we're going to do with these is that we're going to just use a round weld. and you'll notice that it welded the two together. Now, what I could do at this point, let's say that I don't like how sharp this corner is, I can actually control that. I can make this come around a little bit more. I could get rid of this point here, delete it, and then just bring this out a little bit more, and we can, you know, look at it. That don't look too bad. I'm okay with that. So now what I can do is this point in time, go over here to mirror. We're going to flip horizontally about the job center. That's why I said it was important to get this on the center. Voila. We now have a complete body. Add my F-holes, etc. in, and I'm ready to go. How would I make the F-holes? Again, I would go back to my bitmap and just go in here. And I would probably just draw the holes because they're not that complicated. Draw the holes, and boom, I'm ready to go again. That's how I go about making these figures. The neck would be the same way. I would just come in here, trace the neck. Now I'm going to have a really good rendition of a violin. So that's how I go about doing that. Again, when you get the files, you will open the file up. All the PC parts are already there. Now, you can sit there and modify this in any way you want, okay? If you don't like the size of it or whatever, because violins come in many, many sizes. A 4x4 violin is approximately 23 inches tall, and the body is about 14x8. Well, let's suppose you've got a child's violin, which is considerably shorter, and the body is narrower and shorter also. You could scale this down to fit that. Not a problem. What you basically do is just come in here and scale everything down. But remember, when you do that, is you're going to have to come in here and recalculate all the toolpaths to make sure when you go to cut everything out, it's correct. That way everything is done, and then you go in here and start saving your toolpaths as necessary. Thank you for watching. Watch our other videos, and remember, everything is on nextwave.com. Thank you to our sponsors, obviously NextWave, Automation, Silverback Woodworking, and Crystal Lac Finishes. See you in the next video.